Hello everybody, I'm Luke Fugit. Welcome to my channel. This is my Skoolie conversion. It is a 1997 Chevy short bus. When I got it, I paid $500 for it. It was of course yellow. Still had all the seats in it. It was all basically set up for hauling kids. And I have since put a whole lot of work into this. I did a tour before. I'll put a link up somewhere here to that previous tour. Let's take a closer look at it and I'll show you what I've done. Now under the hood we have a 6.5 diesel. Not the most powerful engine, but it's pretty good on fuel economy. I painted it blue and silver. That's not very long ago I did that. We have a deck up on top. You can get up there. It's a pretty good place to hang out a lot of times. There are solar panels on top. Okay, so we have 600 watts of solar built in on top here to keep the batteries charged. Got like 250 amp hours of batteries, and planning on at some point expanding that. This top is actually covered with what they call poor man's fiberglass. I need to put a coat of paint on it, but it's waterproof and it should last a really long time. We've been up here with muddy feet, so it's a little dirty. We've got a couple of tie downs there, and I'm going to put some more over on this side and some up here. This will mainly be used for hauling cargo up here on top. That's the backup camera right there, so we can see where we're going when we're in reverse. The solar panels actually are built to tilt. You can see I have here some hinges. There's a hinge there and a hinge up there, and I custom made all that rack to hold them. And over on this side, what we have is truck hood latches for like a big truck, and they just latch in. You can see the latch right there, and they just latch in and it holds it down while you're driving up and down the road. Now to tilt the panels, I'll show you that. So now we have our panels in the upright position. Now you can see that it has a linear actuator that pushes it up, and I actually built that linear actuator out of just parts that it's like a trailer jack and a drill motor. So it's nothing too complicated. All this stuff that I've done, I'll list links to the videos. We have the porch light right here. I notice a lot of people use these. It works pretty good. It's just a solar light, real simple. I like simple stuff. Now this awning, it is just your standard Walmart awning, and you may notice it's kind of leaned a little bit. Now that is not great for shedding water, because actually you have water that lays in right here. But what I plan on doing is actually extending these legs enough to make it level so it actually sits like it's supposed to. And it will shed water, and actually you can also, when the sun is like over in this area, you can actually let these legs down and kind of block the sun a little bit more later in the day. But I also I made a custom windshield cover. Well, it's just a regular windshield cover for an RV. I cut this part off that would go on the side window, and put it down through here because, like any bus, it has the side window right here, which you need to have visibility when you're driving. I put magnets, neodymium magnets, to hold it to the metal. The bus I named Zephyr. Now here we have the water supply. Usually I have a screw that goes in it, a star bit, which somebody actually happening to have a star bit to take that loose is kind of rare, but I put a star bit screw in here to kind of lock this so nobody can actually tamper with it. But it is, it's just, that runs into a 30-gallon water tank inside here. And we have a water pump and a sink. We'll get to that on the inside. And going down the side here, there is the exhaust for my diesel powered heater. It runs from the diesel in the tank and it heats the bus really well. It's one of those little Chinese diesel heaters. It works really good. Back here you can see I also have Zephyr written on the side there. At some point I'm going to probably tint these windows real dark right there and then tint the rest of them just to kind of cover them. And in the back I have a folding porch. It's actually powered by a four-wheeler winch. I'll put a shot of it running, lifting up and down. That way we can have our porch out. We can sit on the porch. Actually, there's one spot we camp where you can back the bus completely out over the water and sit on the porch and fish. I used some of that stick-on stuff to make like a stained glass window out of that one and the bathroom window, so you can't see in or out the bathroom window anyway, so might as well. Now on the top, of course, we have our backup camera up there. We have an air conditioner that keeps the whole bus pretty cool. That is the vent for the water heater. And this is one of those tankless water heaters. I'll show you that on the inside and explain a little bit about it. You're not really supposed to run those inside, but I have mine blocked off. I'll have to show you how I did that in another video. But that's that. I have this hooked up so when I'm backing up I can turn that on. I'm going to probably take these off and do them the same way. I just kind of painted over those, but that one is pretty bright so it lights it up as you're backing. And that's my sticker window. Over here on this side, of course, we got a couple of windows blocked off. I'm going to do the same with the dark window tint on those. And from the outside, that's about all that we have done to it. So, let's check out the inside. All right, when you first go in, you'll notice there's a handle right here. And when you twist this handle, this does lock, by the way. You twist this handle and pull it, the door opens. But without twisting the handle, of course, it's locked. Now, how does that work? You can see that there is no mechanism in here to actually open and close the door. It had all that. You can see where it was bolted down right there. It had all that, a big handle here that you could open the door with. I really didn't want that, so what I did, I took and I drilled a hole through right here, and I got a garage door latch with a key so you can lock it. And this little square piece here came with the garage door lock. I just took a piece of pipe and welded the piece of pipe onto that square, and I found a wrench that fit perfect on it, and I cut several grooves in it so I could try this cable in different places to see where it worked the best. You can see after a while I just drilled a hole and just stuck it through in the spot where it actually worked. I have a couple little clamps, a couple little insulated clamps that hold it in place, and the cable runs all the way down to this, which is one of those types of latches. You can see that when I twist the knob, it pulls the latch up because that part pulls it, and that goes into right here. It goes in behind that, and that's what holds the door shut. Now I just have the steps, I just have them covered with this stick-on linoleum stuff, and I took, this is actually the original trim that went down the floor of the bus originally, so I just cut it and used it for trim on the steps. It helps to hold that stuff on and makes it, cleans it up a little bit where there's like where it meets together and stuff. And you know, you can see I continued that stuff up through here. Didn't really do much up here. That's where I keep my trash can, and that's sitting on metal, so I just glued a magnet to the bottom of the trash can so it can't fall over or anything, because this is a piece of metal right there, so that way the trash can will sit there. Alright, so in here it is basically a van front end, and only additions really. I added a boost gauge, and I got my cell phone holder up there. I run torque, and I use torque to monitor my engine RPM and all that, because it doesn't have a tach. But I put my tach up there so that I can monitor my RPM and everything, and any engine codes or anything, which it's not throwing any right now. But here is the backup camera monitor, so you can see what's behind you. And we've got a lake behind us. Here is a TV, and it actually is mounted to a swivel mount that mounts into a good solid, this is all solid metal up here, and it will swivel and come out like that, or well, basically anywhere that you want it, out like that. And then whenever I'm driving, I have a strap that I hook here and I hook over here, and that's what holds it from flying out. And anybody that's ever done a bus knows that these are your best friend, magnets. These I use to hold my curtains up, hold all kinds of stuff up. It's very handy. All the fuses and everything else are in here. It's not very neat, but I can show you. This is all the electrical system, all the wires. There's my remote control unit for, it's actually got a remote starter on it and everything. Here is my fuse for my solar. And yeah, I know this is not super neat or anything, but it's all safe. I mean, I have everything fused or ran through breakers. All of the circuits that are in the bus are running through fuses. Even stuff that I've added, I always fuse everything. As soon as close to the source of power as you can get, I always fuse stuff. But yeah, that's the basics of that. I even left the electrical panel sticker on it. I haven't really done anything with painting any of that, because this really doesn't bother me any that's not painted. And that does tell you that's where the electrical panel's at, if anybody needs to know. And like I said, this is my charge controller for the solar, and that runs, of course, from the roof up there down and through a junction box outside, runs down into this area, down through the fuse up into it on this wire, and there's bushings here to keep everything safe, keep the wires from chafing. Mark the end of the wire so I know which one's positive, which one's negative. And of course, this is my solar panel lifting switch. I added these LEDs everywhere. These are very handy. There was actually a light right here. Everywhere I have one of these, there was a light before from the factory, so I just put these in the place of all of them. And this is just nothing but a little storage compartment. Pretty full right now. I have a DVD player right here, and my drone, and just different stuff. There's a computer in there and all that. Good enough. Okay, so this couch is just a futon basically, and all you do to convert this to a bed, usually most of the time I just sleep on it the way it is when I do sleep on this one, but yep, I got my other bed in the way right here. Just like that. Yeah, just like that, and you have a bed, and it's big enough that you can sleep comfortably on it. So we'll put that back up and I'll show you my bed. You can see the 4 hooks there, there, here, and here. Now what these are is hooks for my bed. So what I do, I've got what this is painter's cloth and an electrical conduit with, you can see these are little rings that are welded to the electrical conduit, and these have painter's canvas rolled around them. You hook it in like this, and then like this. I might roll it one more time. Like that. And then, in order to get up here to sleep, step on the edge of the couch, and you get up here just like this. And now I have another piece of cloth that will actually lay on here, and it just tucks in. You flip these up and it tucks in behind this, and it's just a piece of painter's cloth, and it lays right down through here, and you put your pillow right here, and your feet go on that end, and you just pretty much lay like this with your pillow behind. There's a piece of cloth, and it's actually pretty comfortable. Alright, and right here is one of the vents for the diesel heater. It came with 2. I've got one here, and one is back here, and then where the air comes in is right here. So the heater is under these cabinets. And speaking of cabinets, up here you can see I have cabinets going all the way from the front where that pad is. I left the pad, but that actually came with the bus. And from that pad all the way back is cabinets, and you can see it's just a piece of wood that comes, it sits actually on this lip. Let me show you on this side. It's made the same as this. There's a lip just like this. So this board sits on that lip. It is a 1x12 board, 2 of them. And basically all I did is, well, they're pretty much all full, I'd say. Oh, okay, you can kind of see on this one. What I did, you can see the curve of the bus roof, and I took and I cut out little dividers in between, and those are screwed into the ribs. You can see each one lines up with the ribs that go across for the structure of the roof of the bus, and that's where these are screwed in with brackets. So what you got is you have these little brackets, and they are screwed into the ribs of the bus, so that way those are very strong. And then of course these boards are screwed into the ones that are screwed into the ribs, so it won't go nowhere. And then this, of course, the face of this is screwed into the other board. And all I did is I just cut out, I just made my marks. They're not perfectly straight. And they don't have latch mechanisms or anything like that on them, but they stay shut. I was kind of concerned that stuff would try to fall out, but it doesn't. It don't go anywhere. And I have stuff in them, and it doesn't go anywhere. It just sits right there. Now right here is a switch for some LED lights. You can see that gives good indirect lighting, because these are a little overwhelming at night. So when you turn this on, you can see it lights up that whole back, and it lights this whole bus up actually. And those don't hardly use any power. You may be wondering, why is there a household thermostat in here? And it is not hooked to that air conditioner, and it is not hooked to the heater, either one. The heater has its own thermostat up there. This thermostat is a thermostat starting system. This will actually start and stop the engine of the bus. It will turn on the engine, and what you do is you set it to AC and turn it on high, and then you don't have to leave your key on or anything like that. You don't have to have the key in the ignition. The key can be out of the ignition or whatever. And what you do, of course, we have the air conditioner we're plugged into the campground this time, so we can use our back air conditioner. But when you can't, when you're boondocking, you can use your dash air conditioner, and actually with the engine running and providing power, it will also run that air conditioner and keep up. I can start the engine, and I can run that air conditioner, and I can run this air conditioner and get it really uncomfortably cold in here. Now this is a system that I came up with. I'll put a link to a video showing how it was hooked up on this bus and show it working. The humidity is what kills you. Alright, now I put that on cool. Now we will go down to 74. You can hear the fan kicked on. Now the engine has kicked on. If you look up here and listen, oh, it feels good. This has a pretty good air conditioner in it. I guess it has to, because it has to cool this whole thing when you're driving down the road. So it blows like really good, and it is cooling now. The engine is running. There's no key in the ignition, but the engine is running. The air conditioner is running, cooling the air, and it will run until the thermostat tells it to turn off. It'll get down to, well, whatever I got it at, 74. Alright, well, if we don't want to wait, instead of letting it get down to temperature, we'll just go up and act like it had made it down to temperature. So, if I go up like that, it thinks that it has reached the right temperature. Let's go up to 76 there. Okay, the engine is off now. That is because the temperature has been reached that we want the bus to be. But this system comes in really handy for like when we're boondocking and we don't have power to plug into like we do here. We can just use this thermostat to start and stop the bus to either cool or heat. Now most of the time I won't use the heat because I have the diesel heater and it's really efficient. So I don't need the heat part of this, but I can use it if something happens to that diesel heater. I can still use the bus engine to heat, and it runs through these front vents, and also this switch is a heater in the back. So when I turn that switch on, it turns a heater on in the back, and it blows through the diesel heater and it comes out of these. So even if the diesel heater is not working, it will still heat the bus. Alright, so like I said, I'll put a link to another video showing the thermostat starter in action. That might be a good thing for somebody that does a lot of boondocking and they have a good air conditioner in their van or bus, a good dash air conditioner. That might be a good thing. Also, with the air conditioner kicking on and off like that and starting the engine through the night, you actually help your batteries to stay charged. On this one anyway, because right down here I have a continuous duty solenoid that connects the van battery to the house battery. You can see this terminal is the van battery system. This terminal is the solar system or the onboard house battery system. This comes from the solar panels and this goes to the batteries. This comes from the alternator. So this ties the van batteries into the house batteries. But it only does it when the ignition's on. So while your engine is starting and stopping with the thermostat, it is also, while it's cooling or heating your vehicle, it is charging your batteries. So this comes in handy for a couple of different things. But anyway, let's move on back. There's some more of these lights, which kind of cause some glare, so I'm going to turn them off. And you notice more magnets. And I've kind of trimmed out a little bit and made a little soap dispenser holder. It's got some Velcro on it to keep it from popping out of there on big bumps. But it don't go anywhere. It rides right there. Soap tray. So right here we have our kitchen. Now the sink has the water pump switch right here. Turn that on, and it has a pressure tank, so it doesn't kick on right away. It doesn't kick on until you turn the water on and lose pressure. Now you can hear the water pump running, and it will run for just a minute and kick off, and then it'll run until it's a really small little pressure tank, but it helps to keep it from, like before, it would kick on and off really fast and it was annoying. So that's a whole lot better. Now this sink came out of an old RV. It was actually a double sink that was actually just made in two pieces, this piece and another piece, and they were side by side. So when I took the RV apart, I just got one of them and used in here because I didn't really I didn't really want to take up the room with two of them, so I just wanted a one sink. Now this just drains out and onto the ground, but you can put a bucket underneath of it. If you're in a place that doesn't let you put your gray water on the ground, you can catch it in a bucket. In this case, they don't care, so I just let it run out. We don't put anything bad down through there anyway. And we have a little propane stove here, and it works pretty good. I have a 1 pound propane bottle hooked to it, and that way it makes it really portable. You can just take this, and most of the time actually we cook with it outside. We don't really cook with it in here that often. Every now and then, like this morning, I used it a little bit, but most of the time we don't cook with it inside, and when we do, we open a window right here so it can be ventilated. Now here is the propane powered water heater, and it vents out here and it comes out where I showed you in the back. Now I have the vents blocked off in here. I'll put up another video showing how I did that, because if you don't do that, these vent out the side, and it will even tell you don't put this in a room where there's not ventilation. But what I did is I blocked these off so all of the fumes go out through here, and it still works fine. It still heats water the same way. It doesn't hurt anything, but you can actually block those off. I used some aluminum tape and I blocked them off, and it's still there. It lasts really well. I suppose you could probably just block it off right here. You don't want to block the bottom one, but the top one on both sides. I suppose you could just do that and it would probably work, but you always, when you're running something like that or that inside, it's a good idea to crack a window and always keep a carbon monoxide detector to let you know if you're using too much of your oxygen. Okay, we're going around. Here is the heater control for the diesel heater that is under there. That's a little thermostat, and it keeps it nice and toasty warm in here. And then these cabinets came from an apartment complex. They were renovating and they were throwing these away, and I grabbed them because they're still good. Now this one is like tool storage. I have my garbage bags in there, more propane. I have my torch, my jumper cables, my jack and lug wrench, and all that. Now in here is food storage and essentials like coffee. And once again, these don't really come open. Now if you drive like a maniac, now you'll throw stuff out. But if you take your time and watch how you take curves, everything just stays in there. Like I said, I don't have any problem with stuff falling out. And back here we have more magnets. I have more curtains that I can put up back here to cover this at night, and that way nobody can look in. I had to figure out a way to keep the door locked at night, and the best way I could think of, or the simplest way, was either to drill a hole through here and put a lock, or, which you really don't need a padlock on this on the inside, because once you're in here to take the padlock off, you're already in the bus, so the fact that you had it locked with a padlock wouldn't make any difference. So all you need in here is something through this to keep anyone from lifting that up, because that's all it does. It pulls this up and pulls this little thing over here. But if you do this and take this little bolt and put it in there like that, you cannot get this open, especially if you're outside, because it's a real short handle on the outside and you can't get the leverage that you can on this. And even with leverage, you're not going to lift that up. So with this on there, this door is effectively locked. Alright, as you can see, I still have like some trim work to do. I'm going to put some trim up around this. And I'm going to trim back in here and cover all this. But, you know, that's been like that for a few years. So anybody that has built a bus or a camper like this, they know that it's never really completely finished. And there's always things that you can find that you need to do. And the back is one place that I really haven't ever completely finished. Of course, right here is the air conditioner on the inside. It's just simply cut in. I cut a hole here, cut a hole on the outside, stuck it through, and just run the cord down into there and hooked it into the electrical. So that's pretty much it. That's all I did to get the air conditioner working. It is just a really simple 5,000 BTU air conditioner, cheap Walmart special. One thing I like about it, it doesn't have all the electronics and stuff. It's just simple switches and dials, and it works well. Okay, so this is the little bathroom that I have built. This is all pallet wood that I used. It's been used before, of course. You know, it was on old pallets. And I built the walls and this door out of pallet wood, and it turned out pretty good. I need to put another piece in here to pull that down because it's kind of warped a little, but anyway, I mean, that's no big deal. One more board right here and that'll tighten right up. But all right, in here you can see I made a way to latch the door. Now this design I'm probably going to change. We have a door right here that folds in two pieces like this, and it goes into that right there, and it shuts, and when it's shut, it looks like that. I didn't want to paint it. I wanted it rustic looking, but the problem is that door kind of gets in the way a little. So I think what I'm going to end up doing is I'm just going to put like a shower curtain on the inside and probably eliminate this door. I kind of like the door, but it gets in the way because it's a small space in here anyway. And when you're trying to use the bathroom or trying to take a shower or something, or getting in there, and you got to shut this door, you have to stand way back in there. It's just kind of a pain. But that will probably be redone. But I mean, I like the design of it. The door, I think, you know, kind of looks rustic. But of course, it's got a shower that works. It works with the water heater. Let me turn it on and I'll show you how the water heater does. It lights up and it tells you in Celsius. Of course, with the frame rate of the camera, it looks like it's flashing. This is solid. It looks solid, but it looks like it's flashing there. And in here you can see we have a good stream of shower water going. And it's good and toasty. It is 44 degrees. You can turn it down or whatever. I think I had it turned up to wash dishes with, so it's a little too hot for a shower right now. And yeah, one problem is before you take a shower, you usually take that out so it don't matter if it gets wet, but so it don't get covered. But it's just your standard little porta potty that I got off Amazon, and I put linoleum around the sides just to kind of waterproof everything. And you got your supplies right here, and there's even a little table that you can use to set up to have a little personal little TV tray type table. And yeah, that's about it for the bathroom. Just simple. The bottom part is a washing machine tray. All I did was got a washing machine tray from Lowe's, drilled a hole in the middle and put a drain, and it's all screwed down to the bottom. And when you take a shower, the water just goes out right there. And next, of course, we have our microwave and our refrigerator. Refrigerator right here. And microwave, just standard regular 700 watt microwave. And it's just an apartment refrigerator. It's got the little tiny freezer on top. Nothing, you can't really put much in that freezer. But it does work, and it works off the solar, and it really doesn't deplete the battery that bad. Another Walmart special there. And here is my, what I call my Hillbilly transfer switch. Right now, the air conditioner is actually plugged in, and I've got a cord running in right there to where the air conditioner is, because it pulls quite a bit to run that. But I wanted to go ahead and run everything else on solar, which I am. And you can switch to shore power if you want. But the problem is, if you were to flip this while you're plugged into shore power and it went into the inverter, then you would pop your inverter. Right here is my inverter. It's a little 2,000 watt inverter. The batteries are back in there, with a vent running out on the side over there. But I wanted it so that you can switch from the inverter to shore power without endangering the inverter. Now, the only way that you can go to inverter is you have to turn the inverter off, which there's no load on the inverter now, and nothing is on. You can see the microwave went off. So right now I don't have the shore power hooked up, but you switch that up there, and then you can turn on shore power, and everything will run off of the shore power, which plugs in on the side panel outside. Now when you want to go back to inverter, you have to turn that off and slide that down, and then turn on your inverter. And you can hear the microwave come back on. Still can't really see it, but the microwave is back on. So you have, which I don't have the AC hooked up right now to the inverter, but I do have the microwave hooked up. That's why this is on. Have the plugs, and of course your shore power and inverter power. Just a standard little breaker box. But that's how my Hillbilly transfer switch works. And like I said, there is my little 2,000 watt power inverter, and it has been a good one. I have two lead acid batteries, deep cycle, under this seat, and a battery monitoring system right here. You can tell we have, the batteries are holding at 13.37, and it's running the refrigerator and all that. So that works pretty good. This is one of the original bus seats. It has been moved, it's not bolted in the same spot. I took them all out when I put the floor down. This whole bus is actually insulated. It has insulation behind the walls, and it has insulation on the floor, like an inch of, or a half inch of foam insulation. And then I have plywood, and then I have the tile. And I wanted a table in here because it is kind of handy. We didn't have anywhere to sit anything. Like when I work on a computer or something, I like to have a place to sit the computer, or when we eat, good to have a place to sit and eat. Now this does come out really easy. All you got to do, I always have a drill with me anyway, is take two screws out, one there and one there, take them out, and this lifts up and lifts out of the way. And it just kind of folds up. You can fold it up and put it out of the way. Okay, and next, I'm just working my way all the way around. You know, you can see that I put up wall, like paneling on the inside, trimmed everything up. I mean, I'm not the best at trimming stuff out, but I think it turned out okay. And then up here we have a pretty comfortable little chair. It's a rocking chair. Rock back and forth a little bit there. Show us that. Okay, it's a rocking chair. It's a little squeaky, but it works. And it actually can slide forward. I don't really use that feature any because it's in a pretty good position as it is. And also the seatbelt system that I had to hook up on it, it runs through a hardened bolt and then has a seatbelt bolted to the bottom. So I had to have a seatbelt on it. So yeah, there's a seatbelt right there. That way you can actually be legal. Yeah, there's the other end. And then right over here, now the first time that we took a trip out of the creek with this bus, some of y'all know that I live up a creek, and as you're going out, it's kind of rough, and I guess in a rocking chair going up and down the creek is kind of like, you know, one of those rodeo bulls that they have in a bar. So I put that in to kind of hold on to while you're riding in that chair. So that's the purpose of the little handle right here. Also, I guess you can use that to get up into the bus. You know, just reach around there and grab it for a place to hold on to while you're stepping up into it. And I do believe we have reached back to the front where we started. So I'm thinking that that is about it for the tour. All right, so that's my little bus tour of Zephyr. That's about all I can think of to show right now. I mean, there are more things that I want to do, like trimming out the rest of the back there. I'm thinking about redoing where I have the blue seat and actually making another storage compartment, another bench, and making it so that that table folds down like a regular dinette would. But it would give a place to like store shoes and stuff when you first come in the door. You'd have like a shoe storage. You'd have storage for other stuff underneath of a bench, and you know, be an extra bed. But anyway, I guess that's about all of the tour. If y'all are interested in any of the things that I've done on this, I've got a whole playlist where I started from a school bus with this and made it into a camper and got it to this point. Pretty much everything I've done on it I've shown on my channel. I'll put a link to the playlist. You can go through and you can watch whichever videos you want, and maybe some of the information will help you. If anybody's building out a bus, let me know, and I'd kind of like to know how it's going. But I guess that's probably going to be about it for this video. Appreciate everybody watching, and I'll see y'all on the next one.